Hey, Heal Squad with Maria Menounos fans. It's not Maria Menounos. It's Mr. Maria Menounos. I'm sitting in for the summer. I'm just going to say this. The wife, she's on summer break with our little baby, doing her thing. But you know what? We here. And today we're here with Psychic Jusstine K from Goop to Glamour. Her work has been featured everywhere, but there's a lot more going on. We're going to talk a little bit about mold. We're going to talk a little bit about psychic energy. We're going to talk a little bit about how you can tap into your own psychic powers. Maybe find out a little bit what's going on with this guy here and my little doggy beneath me, because she does that. All that more. Justine, we had as we were starting the show, and by the way, I'm here with Natasha as always, who helps me out. But we were talking, and I said, okay, stop talking. It's just like a lot of gold coming out of you, Justine. Thank you, first of all, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Being on Heal Squad. So like me, you have had to deal with mold issues.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Right? So here we go from psychic energy to mold. But I have somebody who feels there's a connection.
I don't really feel there's a connection. Unfortunately, mold is in 85% of homes in Los Angeles.
Right. But some of us are affected more than others, right?
Look, how really what happens in the world is how sensitive or vulnerable you are.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually is also going to be what's happening physically, and it's our job to become as strong as possible.
That's what I'm saying, Justine. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And when you think of mold, it's damp and darkness where it grows.
Yeah.
So I feel like
I definitely believe everything, that is alive has a spirit to it, and mold is definitely dark, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I unfortunately grew up in a house that had mold, so I was very sensitive to it. And then living in Los Angeles, experienced it. But I feel very grateful to have really the education I've had about it. I feel like I have really kind of the cheat sheet to healing mold in a way that, being told that it's a pretty big thing. A lot of people don't know about it, or the information they do find about it is very overwhelming. And I feel that what I've gone through is really use me as the cheat sheet to healing in a way that is not so overwhelming. But
like my wife with her issues, she's learned how to come up with the cheat codes to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
How does one know they even have mold poisoning without the tests?
Yeah.
Was it headaches and fatigue? What were you experiencing?
It's different for everyone. And really, the number one thing is about what you're breathing in your environment. And sometimes it's your home, sometimes it's your car, sometimes it can be where you're working. The number one thing you want to do if you, for me, like when I give someone a reading, I can look at them and tell if that's what's happening to them. And so, I tell people, if you are lucky enough to live in Los Angeles, there's someone I can recommend that you can go to who can test you. So we just even know from the beginning if you're breathing in mold. But mold, unfortunately, mimics all kinds of diseases. And so people end up going to the doctor and they start getting having tests done and told they have Lyme's or Hashimoto's or all these different things. And they start chasing all kinds of symptoms because unfortunately that's what mold does to the body. But we just want to first off find out what you're breathing in, and it can affect one person more than another. You can be living with other people in your home. It really comes down to if you've experienced a lot of trauma in your life, and then you get some kind of chemical exposure that actually kind of breaks our limbic system. And your limbic system is what governs your emotional, mental, and physical health. And so we really want, the first thing to do is target healing the limbic system as the first thing to go after. And, it's really unfortunate when people find out for real that they're experiencing mold poisoning. It ends up becoming something that is it can bankrupt them. Not because nobody really has knowledge, especially doctors, that unfortunately are not mold educated. It can be very overwhelming.
Can we talk about that trauma point you made? I had to write that down.
So anything you experience in your life that isn't joy, we store as trauma, right? And we even come in with our karma from past life situations or things that we're working on. All of that is trauma that is our karma to work through. But that really is the beginning of what starts to say make us vulnerable or break us down. And then when you throw any kind of chemical exposure or mold exposure on top of that, it's just a recipe for disaster, especially like women in their 40s. But anyone can be sensitive to it. But again, if you're just in LA alone, mold is in 85% of homes, and it's not where you open up a cabinet and look at it. Mold lives in dust, in drapes, in paper, in ceilings. You can have a brand new home built with materials that are contaminated
By mold, yeah.
by mold. And
Wood that's been outside.
And what people don't understand is mold is actually a gas. It becomes this mycotoxin that you are breathing in, and then people don't understand that electricity actually amplifies this. So it's a world of what doctors
I have to
really
close
don't know
my
about.
jaw. Electricity, and we're surrounded by so much electricity.
Yeah.
At least this house is. And I had heard from a therapist who was saying, he said, where's the electrical box on your house?
Yeah.
How close is that to your bed? I said, Jesus, right beneath the master bedroom.
But you can counter that. There is a way to counter that.
How do I counter that?
There's a wonderful company called Tachyon, Advanced Tachyon Technologies, and all of the things we're going to talk about you can find on my blog at psychicgirl.com. But this is a company that does a lot of being able to counter all the EMF that we're experiencing. They make even a cell that you can put that goes right into your breaker box and starts to turn the negative EMF into an energy that becomes like a positive field.
Oh, okay.
You can. They actually
I want
make
one of
and
those.
crush.
What's that?
I said I want one.
Yeah,
Right?
and they actually make I've been involved with this company for like 20 years, and they one of the biggest dreams I had was they actually make this silica that's treated that you can put in paint and paint your home in it, and it creates.
That's what I'd heard. Yes.
Yeah, that is incredible. I was able to do that in where I was living just last, but they have an insane amount of products, and you can get. It's one of the. There's so many things out there that say that they combat EMF. This is one of the true products out there that actually combats EMF and turns the field into a field that doesn't so negatively affect you.
And that's just, again, I want to step back to the chemicals
Sure.
activating or trauma activating any chemical. So is your theory, which would make sense, that that person who like smokes till they're like in their late 90s and is fine, but then the other person who gets lung cancer at 50 and passes away, is it the same thing where they may have more trauma and that chemical, nicotine, whatever is coming in?
Yeah, I do believe there is a karmic and spiritual aspect to illness. Like if we experience certain illnesses, it's not by accident. That is karma. If you're going through something, not that I do not believe everything happens for a reason. I very much, in all of the years of study and doing this, dark and light is very real, and we have to protect ourselves and, like I said, become as strong as possible. But a lot of illness in the body is karmic situations that we're working out, but also we're living in a very toxic environment. It doesn't really matter what the why is behind it at this point. It's like, how are you going to heal from it? Because you're here in the physical world.
It seems like if you could at least heal the trauma, you have a better chance of these chemicals not being as active against you.
If you can heal your limbic, right? So the trauma, absolutely, we want to be able to release from the body. And there are not many things truly work at doing that, but there are some things. There's incredible work called somatic experience. I believe my friend was actually on this show with you guys, who's a great practitioner of that. And there are things like this incredible technology called the Therify, which when you lie between these two light bulbs, it starts to remove trauma out of every cell.
I want to Therify.
Yes, we all
Natasha, you didn't tell me about
we
Therify.
all want Therify.
Can we turn up Natasha's mic drain?
Believe me, we all, Therify is incredible. But again, it is your limbic, which is what is governing everything, that is going to be able to help you overcome all these things that are making you vulnerable, making you weak.
Your limbic.
Your limbic system.
Limbic system.
Yes.
Okay. And so how do we?
So the limbic system, which they're just now doing studies, there's something out there called DNRS, which is it's a system of visualizing and affirmations, and it takes months and months and months, and sometimes people that have had hardcore mold exposure, I didn't find that it was, we're living in a world where there's incredible technology now. What I really found, because even though I had healed to a point where because at one point I was not being able to breathe indoors. I mean, I have gone through it where I have lost everything I own twice. I was homeless, not because I didn't have money. I had a story running Goop, and here I was living in hotels and trying to find somewhere to breathe. But I had healed to a point where I was being able to like rebuild my life, but I still was very chemical sensitive, like having multiple chemical sensitivity, and still just constantly having like my limbic go off. If I got in a new car, it would give me a headache, or you just were, it's like having no filter between what you're breathing in and your brain. And it actually was very painful. And I was introduced to this incredible patch. It's even like a sticker, and it is like a fingerprint. So instead of having some kind of medication or oils or anything in it, it basically is like a QR code. So your skin, you put this, I mean, I'm actually wearing one, but you put the sticker on, and it has basically like a signal that your skin picks up. It's like a QR code. Your skin reads that, it sends a signal to your brain, and then the body reacts. And
to filter out the...
Not even to filter.
Okay.
It is specifically, and there's different ones, but this one particularly targets your limbic to get stronger, right? And so in balancing your limbic system, so I was able, when I heard how this worked, the light bulbs really went off of like, oh my gosh, this is what's going to heal my limbic system. And within 3 months of wearing this patch, you put a new one on every 24 hours, 99%. Like the only thing that still affects me is, you're forever vulnerable to being affected by toxic mold, how sensitive you are, but every other chemical, it's amazing. I couldn't even really be around like scented candles, which we don't want to be around those anyway. Those are hormone disruptors, but it just made me get over.
They smell so good. They always put me.
They do, but unfortunately, anything, if you have those deodorizers that you go into a bathroom and they're really strong, anything, and then you walk out and you even smell like that, those are designed to be forced through your skin, and they're total hormone disruptors. So,
and Dwayne, what did I say no to at AfterBuzz? You said you wanted to put in all these deodorizers again. I said, nope.
Or those deodorizers they hang in cars. Oh my gosh. If you get into an Uber and those people have like 3 deodorizers, I'm like, oh my God, how can this be?
Is that the same for colognes and perfumes?
Most of them, I think it's different with essential oils, but just because something is like an organic essential oil, just because something is organic or even a vitamin doesn't mean it's going to be good for you, because it's all about what your body can handle. There's a huge thing happening in the world. I don't know if you've ever heard of salicylates and what those are. And most people don't even know that. We're not even going to talk about psychic stuff. It's all the health show.
Oh, wait a second. We're only 10 minutes in.
I'm joking.
We have a lot of time.
And look, everything I do, obviously people come to me with problems. So that's why I've spent my life being obsessed with finding real solutions to what works to help people overcome their problems, not just psychically, right? You want to give someone something they can take home and solve their problem more than just the psychic said, oh, this is the answer. But salicylates are what are in our fruits and vegetables that naturally are in the skin to protect themselves. But with the way agriculture has gone, they're like times thousands that are in these skins. And then these kids are having fruit juice boxes that are having the salicylates. It's why they're putting, and again, like I'm not a doctor, I'm not doing a diagnosis for anyone, but a lot of these kids that they put on drugs, it's really these kids are sensitive to salicylates, which they get skin issues, they start having all different kinds of reactions.
How do you spell salicylates?
We'll Google it. It's like SYL.
I'm just saying, because everyone's going to when they listen to the show.
And you can actually look at like low salicylate diets because it's in most fruits and vegetables. And so if you are, having some kind of skin allergies or reactions that you don't know why, it can absolutely be from salicylates that are in most fruits and vegetables. So we want to, but some people are lucky and can eat them and don't have any kind of reaction to them. But it is,
Yeah, well, it's
I'm
all
sorry.
speaking to.
The spelling, Kev. if you want.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
yay.
how do we spell it, Natasha?
It's SALICYLATES.
So
Got it.
I would try that before putting your child on ADHD or ADD medication. I would really start to research a high salicylate diet and take those foods out of their diet, even for a couple days, and see if they are acting differently. And then you have the answer.
Getting back to the Limbic system, how is there a way to clear that?
Well, like I said, I'm a huge fan of this patch as being what I have found to be the
Okay,
greatest way
see,
to
I thought that
overcome
was just
this.
for mold, but that's
No.
okay.
This patch, which again, you can find it on my blog. The company is called Super Patch, and they make these for other things as well. They make them to get out of pain, to have better athletic performance, to stop smoking. But this particular one, they have found not only helps older people not fall down as much, it's really helping the body balance by helping balance the limbic system. And but again, that limbic system is governing everything you do in your life. So when you get that balanced and it builds upon itself, like I don't have to wear this patch every day now, but I do from the benefits of it. So, like I found if I go out and have a drink and I'm wearing this patch versus not, it even affects me different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to say as well, because Justine's told me this separately, is that usually after you have mold toxicity, you can always find mold still in the body and heavy metals in the body. And Justine thinks that's zero.
Yeah. Well, half of us have a gene that we can't kick it out of our body. And first of all, to heal from mold, you must be in an environment where you're not breathing in mold. You can go after trying to heal nonstop, but if you're breathing it in, you're still being
I've
exposed
heard this
to the
before
poison.
too. Yeah.
And again, depending upon what level of what you've had, there's very few people. If you, let's say you're in a place you have mold and you take everything with you into your new environment, the furniture and everything you own is still filled with the gas of the mold, and you're breathing it in, you take it right into the next environment. So, and again, this is very overwhelming. People, don't want to hear this, and they don't want to face the reality of, oh my God, I have to move and get rid of everything I own. And I'm not telling anyone to do that. Again, also, I believe in just making your limbic stronger. Just getting out of your environment is number one. But half of us have a gene that we can't naturally kick the mold out of our body. And so even if you're out of it, it could still be in your lungs. And and there are products that can help you to detox the molds and metals. If you're breathing in mold for whatever reason, the metals, from what I've learned, go with it. And
Do you recommend anything?
I love liquid zeolite. Now there are many forms of liquid zeolite. There's one I really trust and love that's on my website, and this acts like a honeycomb structure. It goes through the body and collects up toxins and just naturally release them through your waste. That's a great thing. But the most important thing is when I went through what I was going through for about 7 years because I couldn't get to a place. I even moved into a brand new building that was supposed to be green, and that building, the entire thing was systemic mold. I was
Mold is green.
on the floor. Well, it was supposed to be green as in like a green
I
building.
know.
But so the number one thing is you've got to get out of the environment, and remediating somewhere that has mold is very difficult. It's very hard to truly remediate, and it usually comes right back. And it's really a thing.
I just want to say, because I know a lot of people, will hear something like this and get really overwhelmed and stressed out.
Yeah.
I feel like you're like Maria, where this has taken you to the extreme, so you could show us all the way. So I feel like your version of it is like Maria's version of whether it was, brain tumor, type 1 diabetes, and then pancreatic cancer, all of which she found the cheat codes.
Amazing.
Right. But it's so extreme. And then she had to go to the extreme for her to learn, whether it was circadian rhythm. I think a lot of this stuff, that Maria's going to love this interview. But so I think, I think I always come from the regular guy approach to this.
Yeah.
And for me now, if I don't feel right in an environment, whether it's a smell, And I've heard people be like, no, there's no mold here. They checked.
Yeah,
But it still smells a little musty. I'm like, well, then maybe, again, I'm a regular guy. Maybe it's not mold. Maybe it's another form of
no,
something.
most normal
But I
mold
am getting
testing.
a headache.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired and I'm out. I just walk out. I get out. So I just listen to my body. So I just ask people to listen more to your body. If you tune more into your body, you'll know. You'll know when you come in, like, wait, something's not right here.
Yeah. And most mold testing is not at this level, because once your limbic system is gone, the most tiny particle is as in being in a gigantic ocean of it.
Got it.
But most, 99.9% of what's out there is crap, unfortunately, and is not going to pick up on what we're talking about.
So to trust your body more than anything. And I will say, Macy's, summer is here, Heal Squad, and to make sure we're all set for our upcoming summer travels, we will be heading over to Macy's to make sure we have everything we need. If you're ready to start planning for that upcoming summer vacation and you need some inspiration on where to start, make sure to head over to Macy's. Excuse me, that's where I always screw this up. Make sure to head over to Maria's Macy's wish list using the link in the episode description. Let us know what you end up with. Huge fans of Macy's, and I think sometime this month or next month, we will be going there. Hopefully we'll broadcast live. It's the New York location, which is just my favorite. But go and if you're not going to go to Maria's wish list on her website at mariamenounos.com, then I urge you during this crazy summer heat wave we're experiencing to get to the mall, go into a Macy's. And, Dwayne, what do I like to get when I go to my mall visits? Can you name?
Yeah, your pretzel.
I get my pretzel, yes, and my drink, and then I go into Macy's, and I'm a happy man. Especially great way to beat the heat. Or in my 80s and 90s, thinking the mall is just a great way during the heat wave. If you don't have a pool, if you don't have AC at your house, go to the mall. Even bring the laptop, sit in the food court, do your thing. Dwayne, is it still a thing or no?
Yeah.
Young kids still go to the mall every now and again?
Oh, yeah.
All right, very good. All right, guys, head over to Macy's. Wonderful pistachios. Okay, when we have these travels, you guys already know that our carry-on luggage will be stocked with our favorite snack, wonderful pistachios. You know what, like they say in wrestling, Dwayne, it's living the gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
So, if a wrestler has a gimmick, they have their gimmick on camera, but when they live the gimmick, they live it off camera. See, we live the gimmick when it comes to pistachios because, as you know, Dwayne, I have them all over the house and I'm munching on them all the time. Salt and vinegar, my favorite. Maria's into the sweet chili flavor. But beside the fact that they're tasty, Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. So if you've been looking for the perfect snack, thank us later. Head over to wonderfulpistachios.com to snag a bag or multiple bags as we do. I do recommend the snack packs, getting a whole heap of those and then being able to have them in your backpack, have them on the go, bring them to work, et cetera, et cetera. Wonderful Pistachios. I'll be jumping on a plane tomorrow or this week. And as always, I get them at the airport, a lot more expensive at the airport, but better to go to your somewhere local and get it and then hop on the plane with it. Anyway, wonderfulpistachios.com. Peace.
And especially if you all of a sudden have these incredible symptoms come on, if you were healthy and then you had all these symptoms come on and you've gone to the doctor and they're telling you all this stuff, you really need to think about what changed in your environment and in your life, right? Because it's not going to these health issues aren't going to come on overnight unless, you've put your physical body somewhere that's being affected by it. So that's the most important thing.
What was super revealing to me, so our house is about 100 years old. The house across the street is probably like 40, 50.
Wow.
But what they're doing in our neighborhood is they're knocking one by one. They just knock down any house that's over 10 years old. That's not a McMansion. They just knock them down. They put up these giant structures, have like a 3-foot backyard. It's crazy. But when they knocked the one down across the street, for 3 or 4 weeks after it was knocked down, the smell of old must and mold.
Must is the smell of mold.
And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so, I'm like,
You were
wait,
breathing
they
it
were,
in?
I was breathing in, but then my friends who had the house across the street have moved, they were living in that. And I swear more, and this is a 40-year-old house. I mean, I think more houses, you knock them down and it's so revealed.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, there's a part of my basement, it's, it's more of a crawl space, but it's ventilated underneath. And when I walk by in the summer, that smell that comes up, it's like, oh my God. Like, to me, it's just, I can tell.
So, you could, ozone is one of the things.
I was going to ask you, I have a machine and it's running now, but I thought you might be skeptical about it because
there's one person, he's actually in Nevada, and he'll travel to LA. He is the only person who really has the machines at the level of what is needed to come in and truly clear a car or a home of mold, as long as it's not systemic through, say if you're in an apartment building and you can only...
Yeah, no, you can't control, right,
but,
right.
He really is the only person who has the equipment.
All right, I may have to have him continue.
And he has such integrity. He's such a great guy.
Well, what's interesting, Justine? A lot of the ozone machines, or all of them on Amazon,
they're not strong enough.
and they won't you can't come to California. They're illegal.
Well, first of all, if you're ozoning your home, it needs to be taped up. You can't be in there. Your plants can't be in there. It's to the level if it's going to kill what's ever in there, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to be done. And any of these ozone services that you find on Yelp in Los Angeles are not anything that are going to truly be...
Yeah, I'm going to talk to this person.
I can hook you up.
Because I want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Because I will say that if your car sits, most of us on the East Coast will use the AC 3-4 months out of the year. But do you ever notice if it sits, when you first turn it on, it's all that moldy, musty.
Well, it depends on if you've had water damage, right? With most, but look, you could.
But all the condensation that builds up in the AC and it's not used. So a good ozone machine, run it while you're running the AC, will clean it. So at least for me, so I don't have that.
Your car, you definitely have to do the whole.
Well, you run the AC, you have it on, you crack the windows because the ozone can take the oxygen out and start cracking the
vinyl.
But
you don't want to be anywhere.
No, you're not in it. No. I'm saying you do this because I went through this process in Connecticut. It worked.
Cool.
But you run the AC, you put the unit in, you crack the windows, you get the hell away from it. You just you leave it there for whatever a day. And I say
leave it to the professionals.
Well, now that I know they're out there, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of our people who listen to the show don't have access. Yeah. So I'm always trying to find, like you went and kept finding the workarounds. Yeah. So it's like you have to live.
Yeah.
So
I just want to be careful, and you don't want to waste your money on a machine that is not going to do anything for you.
Well, I tell you, I got one for it's like $50 to $100. Wasn't much money, and at least for the car, it worked. For the car. And again, for me, for my sensitivity levels, and I've gotten really sensitive to this, Justine, not as much as you, but enough where I'm like, my head starts to hurt. I feel all wrong. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm out. I'm getting out of this, whatever environment I'm in.
We can definitely, I think if you,
I want to get your guide though.
You're going to be, heal your limbic
And they have different patches as well, you said.
They do. Do you want to start with this one? It's called Liberty, and that balances the limbic, and then they have other things you can build on as well.
Psychicgirl.com is your website. Wow. Jeez. It's funny. Just, so as we bleed into, and I know this is going to have to go 2 parts because we just have too much to go over. I want to talk about you and Natasha, how you guys came together, and you ended up having I know Natasha had a significant experience with your mom and her reading your mom. And
Justine did a reading for me, and it was so beautiful. Oh. So I know some of the Heal Squad know that my mom passed away and that she had dementia for many, many years before that. And during the reading with Justine, I asked Justine to connect with my mom and see if there was anything for me. And Molly, who the Heal Squad also know, had always picked up this like funky energy with my mom when she was she couldn't quite place her finger on it, but Justine gave so much clarity, and it was so beautiful. I actually am like,
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, thank gosh, it's for the information is for you, not
yeah.
for me, but I love hearing that.
Justine said to me, your mom doesn't know that she's passed.
Oh, right. I do remember.
And she's been stumbling around, and she kind of is lost in whatever.
Oh, because of the dementia.
She was a little stuck.
Yeah, she was a little stuck. And so Justine got
Hooked her up with her guides and teachers.
yeah,
and
her
helped
guides
her
and
take her next-
teachers, and took her to like a psychic hospital to heal and to recuperate.
Wait, so
and
they'll
do, like,
carry
cognitive
they can carry the dementia into the next life?
Well, if you think
whatever.
about it, when we die, we're still very much alive. We just lose our physical body. So when we die, it's not just rainbows and butterflies. If you were mentally ill or emotionally ill, you're still going to be dealing with that on the other side. So when people...
Wait, I never knew that.
Well, how would you? No one's educating you
So
about
I
it.
know. I'm still going to be crazy
I
on the
know,
other
so many-
side.
and
I don't have all the
people-
revelations. I don't go on the other side and go, oh,
And this
wow.
is the part that's so heartbreaking. It's when people do something, so hurt themselves when they don't know what's on the other side, and they go and do something, we don't, there's no way out. So, taking our own life only gets you in more trouble because now you've lost your physical body. So unfortunately, there's no escape. And it's so heartbreaking when people have no clue of what's on the other side and they think ending it is going to be better. But so just to educate people on that as well. But we actually have 7 vehicles of consciousness. So we have more than our physical body, and we actually have a mental body and emotional body. And sometimes people pass. And look, this is why homes and cemeteries are haunted. People can actually get stuck around their body, or can get stuck around where they passed, or where they had, if someone's had an accident in a car, and they can actually, when there's a street corner where just tons of accidents happen, it's usually that there was an original accident and people got kind of stuck around that. And I'm sure this sounds, I try to tell people, I so try to take the woo out of everything.
Yeah, but
and it
Justine,
starts to
none of
sound
this,
so-
none of this, I don't know. This is resonating with me.
So we want to, a lot of work I do is about helping people to truly move on. Like we were talking about before, I have quite a history of helping real estate that isn't selling sell. And that for me, it's very easy to look at a property that's not selling and to see what's going on with it, and then be able to transform that energy, and the property will sell
can I
immediately.
back you up on this one? So I had a property,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I'm just a regular guy here, and I'm just going to tell
You're
you
not a regular guy.
regular guy here, just telling you my experiences. But I had a house, and I got it back. I think it was like 2007 or 8 when there was the collapse of real estate.
Oh.
And a lot of people, got everyone got a mortgage, right? And then people were over their heads, couldn't pay for the mortgage once the balloon payment came in, and then they lost the house.
Yeah.
So this was that house. And the people that were there were angry and trashed the house as a result. So there was just a lot of dark energy attached to the
and
house.
Objects absorb energy, right? So every fight that's ever been had, if you think about it, there'll be a couple sometimes in love, and they buy a home, and the home was owned by a couple that all they did was fight, and they got divorced, and here this couple has no issues, and they move right into this where the walls have absorbed the energy of every fight that's ever happened there, and then all of a sudden that couple starts fighting, and it's not even their energy. So we want to, thank gosh, we can clean up a space and transform that energy to make it be a healing environment, which is a lot of what I do. But energy, it's very real. It's the same thing as you can be having like a great day, and your friend calls you and they're in a horrible mood, and you get off the phone with them, and then you're not feeling so great anymore. Or you can sit down in a seat that someone was sitting in before you that was sick or not feeling well or having a horrible day, and all of a sudden you don't feel so great.
Lots to unpack
Energy
here.
is real.
Okay, so wait, okay, so I get I'm going to talk about renovations and things like that in a second.
Okay.
But with that, what do you do to protect yourself in that seat? Is there clothing you wear, colors you can wear, the
Right?
evil eye things? Like what? Like tell me, like
Look, there's no rules, and all I can tell you is that you find what works for you, and really everything starts in spirit and is brought into physical. So if you want to imagine yourself in a bubble or wearing a suit of armor or being a superhero, whatever works for you,
yeah,
or,
I've heard that. Like take a shower, or envision
a
white light
shower.
around you.
Yeah, it's you want to get yourself grounded. You have to become aware of yourself. Everything is about your relationship with yourself
Agreed.
and how you are relating in the world.
Right. And again, when you're not feeling it and it's wonky and it's off, you take the data, get away, get away from that person.
At the end of the day, it's between you and God. So who cares what anyone thinks of you, or if your friend gives you a hard time for what you're experiencing. Absolutely, you don't want to be nice or kind and pay the price out after. You want to take care of yourself.
Okay, I want to get back to this house. So I want to, cause it's really going to back up your point, because the story that's the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
So I come in, I renovate the house, and it was kind of like an artist house. So I let all my artist friends live there, and we tape podcasts there, and just over time, there was just more drugs, alcohol, darkness, just dragging everybody down.
Not fun.
Not fun. So then, we got out of there, we moved over to a building, and pandemic happened. And when my network went on hiatus, I was like, listen, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm like, I have all these people living here who basically living for nothing and are miserable. Like, they're not like they're grateful or happy. I'm like, I'm out of this house. So renovated this place, but front to back, full renovation. Did and it just felt different. It felt lighter. It felt good.
And your energy went in there and also affected it with what you were doing.
With underpower, full underpower went in me, my father-in-law, and my small team, and it was beautiful. It was done.
Yeah.
Okay, cut to, I sold this place, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago. It's all overgrown, broken. It's back to what it was. And
because the core of it wasn't.
Yes.
It's the same thing. When there's a spot where
but I was always convinced. Oh, and then back up. So I went to sell it. My real estate agent, really great girl, and sold it all the way to the end. Boom, fell out of sale. Sold it all the way in, fell out of sale. Third time out of sale. She said, Kevin, like, by the way, not to name drop, Joe Rogan's friend in person, like, this girl can sell. She's unbelievable. She's like, this has never happened to me. I'm going over there to sage that house.
Sage pisses off spirits.
Whatever. But my point is, here's my. But Justine, and again, we're regular people. You're 102. This is 101.
Yeah. How did the sage work?
It worked. We sold the house. We did. We got rid of it. Like, we got rid of it for a little less. But the fact is, she's not in that world, and she just was like, something's wrong here. She didn't know the history. I didn't tell her anything about all and that convinced me that just certain places, like you're saying, and objects hold dark energy.
It's the same as like, a restaurant that will go into a space and then it goes under, and then the next 6 restaurants go in that space. They never succeed because it just goes right into the energy of the failure of all the restaurants before. That can be cleaned up.
So another really funny story. This like mobster kind of gangster guy he's out of that world, and now he's a restaurateur and he's super successful.
Okay.
And when the show Entourage came on, I think he was on the show. He's friends with all those guys, and and there was one location. Mm-hmm. I hope you'll find this amusing. That he's the first time he failed with a restaurant, and that he is as non-woo-woo as you can imagine. Yeah, but let me finish. Let me finish, Justine. You're gonna like that. I think you'll enjoy this. He had a girlfriend who was open to this part and said, something's wrong here. You're crazy. I don't believe in that stuff, whatever. Brings in a psychic. And now this is like crazy Hollywood stuff. The restaurant was feet away from where the actor, he was friends with James Dean. He was in James Dean's Remember What Love Caused. Joey, Italian actor, young guy, was murdered. He was a gay actor. He wasn't openly gay at the time. But look it up, Dwayne. Stars of Rebel Cause, Joey. I'm sorry, our fans probably know, and I know. I'm just brain freezing. There's been many true Hollywood stories about this, mysteries and scandals. They found out the psychic was like, he's here. He was murdered feet from this place, and it was never solved. He's here with his mother. And anyway, so this guy went from the journey of this one guy, he went all the way the other way of believing and trying to say, and the guy was like from the other side, the spirit was saying, I'm not, a lot of people. if anyone can solve this case, it's you. And years later, he's still trying to solve this case. And by the way, anyway, it's an interesting story, but that's really says what there's certain
And you can
locations.
see-
We have one here in this plaza right near me, the restaurant. Everyone that goes in fails. Every single one.
And you can see how time and space disappears. So this actor, he probably has no clue how long he's been in that space.
What's his name, Dwayne? Come on, Dwayne. These
Sal?
kids. Sal, that's it. Sorry. Sal
Sal
Mineo. I am so sorry, Dwayne. Sal Mineo was the actor. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, continue.
Where do you want to go next?
Well, okay, listen. We have a lot more to go over in part 2 of this. Let's end this for now. It's psychicgirl.com. You can go a lot deeper with a lot of the information that we went over.
Yep, you can find everything on the blog part of my website at psychicgirl.com.
Yeah,
or send me an email, and I'm happy to help.
And but we're gonna be back. I need you back for another part
I
because
love
we literally scratched the surface here. So with that, I will just end this with what my beautiful wife says. And you would think after all these years I can remember. I have to look back, make good choices, be nice people, and stay present.
That's beautiful.
That's not bad.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or MariaMenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.